And welcome back to the Big Doctor Who Poll! I am Joshua Snares, and today we'll be counting down the stories you love and love to hate.
The results of this countdown is sourced by you, the audience, and it is not too late to cast your vote for future episodes, and you can find the link in the description below.
Today, we'll be showcasing the 4th Doctor, played by Tom Baker. The minions require their race banks in order to survive, and the Doctor decides to help them. The amount of CSO work required for the story had never been attempted before, but due to budget, they didn't really have much of a choice. The great and powerful Naimon may not be the last survivor of his race, and Soldeed's dreams of conquest may be shattered forever. Graham Williams suggested John Nathan Turner to be his replacement as producer, yet the head of drama was a bit uneasy about having someone so new to producing taking over Doctor Who. Yet since their first choice was unavailable, John was given the role. Due to a swamp being disturbed on Delta Magna, the giant squid Kroll rises. A special product was ordered to make the Swampy's green makeup stay on even in water, but they forgot to order the solvent to remove it. Therefore, the cast had to take chemical showers or scrub it off by hand. Many of the actors were still slightly green for weeks after recording. The Doctor is accused of theft, but who is the real criminal, and why do they look so prickly? SceneSync, a new technology used in this serial, could match the camera movements on green screen with a model. This technology was offered to use for free as a test case. Arado, a creature from another world who tries to trade metal with the planet Chloris, is sent into a pit. The Arado prop took a long time to put together, and by the time it was completed, it was too late to replace it. The Doctor must find the final segment of the Key to Time in the middle of a war. Tom Baker wanted to leave the show due to a lack of input into scripts. The head of serials wished Baker to be fired. It was held off for now. The Vardens attempt to destroy Gallifrey, or are they? Originally, Graham Williams believed he could convince Louise not to leave the role of Leela, and didn't put much effort into her departure story because of it. On the cruise ship Empress, 2 people are smuggling mandrills, creatures that decompose into the drug they are smuggling. Tom Baker and the director Alan Bromley fought quite a lot, due to Alan being a bit more old school and Tom felt as if he owned the show. The Swarm, a sentient virus, poses a threat that could destroy the entire galaxy. Graham Williams originally suggested the return of the unit format, which was rejected. He also came up with the idea for the Key to Time arc, but pushed it back to the next season due to a lack of time. At the holiday destination Argolius, the travellers discover a machine that is malfunctioning. And did somebody mention Famasi? John Nathan Turner wanted the series to focus more on its visual style, which meant a lot of changes. Costume, music, title sequence, and more. Returning to Space Station Nerva, the Doctor finds the Cybermen and their plan on destroying Voga. For possibly the first time ever in Doctor Who history, extra leftover budget was available for the serial. Therefore, they shot material originally intended for studio on location. On the planet Skaro, a war between the Daleks and the Movellans continue as Davros awakens from his deep sleep. Michael Wisher, the original Davros actor, was unavailable, and the mask didn't quite fit the new actor. Sadly, the budget didn't allow for many repairs. The people of Pluto are being exploited by a particularly evil company. Writer Robert Holmes found himself in arguments with Inland Revenue over tax and littered the script with satire over the situation. In 15th century Italy, a cult plans to use the power of the Mandragora helix to take over the planet. A new concert room was built due to the old room taking up too much studio space. A skull that scientifically cannot exist from a being the Time Lords thought they had destroyed is found on Earth. A fan magazine titled TARDIS reported a serial titled The Island of Fandor, which was to be released this season and was believed to be dropped from the schedule, but in reality, the writer of the article misheard the title of this story. In a small English village, the Doctor and Sarah stumble upon a town that doesn't make sense. Since the show had changed a lot since the Unit era, Ian Marter and John Levine found the production to be quite unpleasant. Marshmen rise from the depths as the Doctor and Romana fall into E-space. It was clear by this serial that Tom Baker would leave the role by the end of the season. The Doctor is sent on a mission to find the key to time, starting on the icy planet RIBOS. Tom Baker got bitten by a Jack Russell Terrier and had a deep cut on his lip, and the cut was concealed with makeup on recording days. On Zeta Minor, the Doctor and Sarah Jane answer a distress call, only to face an antimatter menace. The set design of the jungle was so well received that it was photographed by the BBC Educational Service to show future designers how it's done. Field Major Steyer, a Sontaran, is experimenting on humans on a deserted Earth. Robert Holmes, the script editor, disliked stories longer than 4 episodes, thinking they had too much padding. Therefore, replaced what would have been a 6-part story with 1 4-parter and 1 2-parter. The travellers reach the end of their journey and discover the gate to exit E-space. Romana and K9 were written out of the program due to Nathan Turner believing that the characters were not relatable to the audience. A disintegrator gun is stolen by a gigantic robot, and the newly regenerated Doctor is on the case. Before casting Tom Baker, the team considered an older actor to play the role. Therefore, they created the character of Harry Sullivan, who could do the heavy lifting if needed, similar to Ian Chesterton's role. Romana is the duplicate of the Princess of Tara, and Count Grendel plans to use this likeness to his advantage. During filming a scene with K9 in a boat, a poor sound recorder fell into the river. The Doctor meets a new friend and finds his face carved into a mountain. Oddly, Louise Jameson was requested to wear brown contact lenses in her contract. A fossilised hand is found by Sarah Jane in an old quarry, yet it isn't as dead as it may seem. Originally, Sarah Jane was to die, but it was decided to let her live, which pleased Liz Sladen, who was concerned it would upset the younger audience. On the planet Califrax, the Doctor and Romana find another piece of the key to time from a crazy half-robot captain. Graham Williams suggested more comedy in the scripts because the BBC disliked Doctor Who being too scary, but when head of serials looked at the pirate planet, he thought it should be pulled because it was too funny. I guess you just can't win. Melka, a statue, arrives in the gardens on TRAKEN, but it isn't as lifeless as it may seem. Nyssa, as a companion, was a last-minute addition due to John Nathan Turner liking the character so much, even though Tegan was planned on being the latest companion introduced in the next serial. Ancient vampires rule a medieval planet, but their castle isn't what it seems. Matthew Waterhouse was a BBC filing clerk who didn't have much acting experience, but he was suggested by an internal casting director, Jenny Jenkins. Evil stone blocks from a stone circle come to life, and a mythical being may be returning. Originally in this story, there was to be a scene with the Doctor celebrating their 751st birthday, to celebrate the fact that The Stones of Blood was the 100th story broadcast. This scene was later cut. Skagra wishes to steal an ancient book from the Time Lords, and the Doctor and his old friend Chronotis must stop him. Due to union protests and a lack of studio spaces available in time for broadcast, SHADA had to be cancelled. The Doctor and the Master battle and one must die. Is it the end, or has the moment been prepared for? Tom Baker and John Nathan Turner decided to make a publicity stunt by suggesting that the next Doctor could be a woman. The Time Lord Morbius is being reconstructed from spare body parts, and the final piece needed is the Doctor's head. The script by Terrence Dicks was heavily rewritten by Robert Holmes, that they both decided to give the serial a Bland pseudonym, which became Robin Bland. Something crashes to Earth near a lighthouse on Fang Rock, and it only means death. Louise found the brown eye contact she had to wear very painful, and it was written into the script for her to revert to her natural eye colour. Shape-shifting aliens known as the ZYGONS are intending on taking over the planet. Nicholas Courtney suggested that the Brigadier should be killed off in a blaze of glory, but Philip Hinchcliffe rejected the idea, feeling it wouldn't be a good enough send-off for his character. On Space Station Nerva in the far future, as humanity is asleep in cryogenic containers, an alien menace has arrived. Originally, John Lucarotti was slated to write the serial, who wrote Marco Polo, The Aztecs, and The Massacre, but since he lived on a houseboat in France and was difficult to contact, Robert Holmes ended up writing the serial to save time. The Doctor returns to Gallifrey only to stumble upon his greatest enemy. Since Robert Holmes and Philip Hinchcliffe were planning on leaving the show, they decided to reintroduce the Master in a body that was deteriorating. Therefore, if the new showrunners wanted to use the Master, they could choose any actor they liked, and go in any direction for the character they chose. The discovery of an extraterrestrial seed pod found in Antarctica leads to an alien invasion. The costumes for the Krynoids are the same ones used from the Claws of Axos, but painted and altered. A murder occurs on a sand miner, but are the robots the cause? Tom Baker was upset with a particular scene and had a loud screaming match with the director. Eventually, Baker went on to do the scene as written. In Victorian London, the Doctor faces a giant rat. There were talks of a spin-off with Jago and Lightfoot. Sutekh, the Destroyer, wishes to bring his gift of death to all who live. Robert Holmes added the scene of the travellers returning to a desolated modern Earth to show that even historical stories have consequences that can change the future for the worst. Scaroth attempts to steal the Mona Lisa in order to finance his experiments in time travel. This serial marked the first time Doctor Who would be filmed outside of the UK. The Doctor is on a mission from the Time Lords to stop the creation of the Daleks. Terry Nation's original script was rejected for its reliance on reusing similar plot points, and was urged to try something different on the request of Barry Letts and Terrence Dicks. Don't forget to enter the poll below to add your vote to this series. Don't forget to subscribe to the official Josh Nair's YouTube channel.